my work, I face danger every day. I have to be prepared for the unexpected. Yes, I have certain procedures and routines that I apply. As a black mamba specialist, I'm continuously dealing with challenges that are unforeseen. Unpredictability is the highlight of my work, and for that, I rely on self-trust and to handle all situations skillfully to achieve the best possible result. Every one of you sitting in this room today has the potential that hasn't been explored, that you are not even aware of. You know this because instinctively you're aware that you're far more than what you see when you look at yourself in the mirror. As a snake handler, I explore my potential daily. There are times when my self-trust enables me to use my creativity in an instant. Unfortunately, we live in a world that often encourages us to exist in a false comfort zone, where we ignore that amazing potential that every human possesses. Comfort zones are fine for zoning out, lying on the couch and watching sport. I can vouch for that. But they limit us when it comes to having that best experience of what life has to offer. Limitations prevent us from accessing our potential. I'm talking about social conditioning. Trends shift our focus to unimportant issues that we focus on. That self-identity of lack, our beliefs of incapability that stem from informal learning as well as exposure to life. This creates false ideas of what we cannot do. This prevents us from exploring beyond our current boundaries and breaking through those glass ceilings. These three limitations exist in my life too, and I've had to work through them to successfully manage my chosen career. I'll share this with you and how this relates directly to achieving success in business. Regarding snakes, we know how messages are relayed directly and subliminally that result in a perception of snakes being scary, slimy, and even evil at times. Most people fall for this without question, and this information is incorrect. In fact, if a child was raised with different information by being made aware of the beauty, wonder, and value of these animals with no negative input, that child would grow up with a very different perception of snakes. For me to successfully work with snakes, I've had to rise above the nonsense spread socially. Looking at business, so much information in the media, news, etc. is incorrect. This limits our potential of what we can do creatively to succeed in business. We find ourselves in the compartments of what our business can achieve, the norms of how we should operate, what to expect. We give ourselves invalid reasons for not venturing beyond our current boundaries. And to explore our potential, we need to refocus. When it comes to our self-awareness, we give ourselves and our business many labels. Many of these labels are negative and limit us daily. As a snake handler, I cannot focus on these limiting labels, such as I can't, it's not possible, or I've never done this before. And in your business, neither can you. All our labels are born from our mindset, and under our control, we choose our thoughts, either negative or positive. In business, your self-awareness and your business awareness should be under constant review to rake out the limiting labels that exist within you and your team. Replace them with words like, I can make a plan to handle this, or I'll brainstorm a solution, or we can innovate new methods, etc. Fear is the biggest cause of limitation. Now, I'm not saying you should dress yourself in a Marvel superhero costume and jump off a building, but I bet you all wanted to do that. What I am promoting is that you replace fear with caution. The reason being that caution encourages strategic thinking, stealth planning, proactivity, in other words, calculated risks. This enables you to devise a method to overcome obstacles and challenges positively and constructively. Whereas fear promotes useless worry, clouded thinking, adrenaline-driven unplanned action, inability to brainstorm, etc. Fear-driven behavior limits proactivity. Caution enables me to develop the best means of approaching and managing the situation to achieve my goal. I rely on proactivity for this. In business, take some time to recalibrate how you and your team respond to challenges, and choose caution over fear. In closing, for me to interact successfully with snakes, these three are paramount, as they are in business. With respect, I don't have unrealistic expectations of how snakes will behave. They could bite and kill me, although this is not the main focus of them. They won't lick my face and love me like a puppy dog, and that's fine. I respect them for what they are. In business, not everyone will meet your expectations, but it is possible to build a successful relationship through respect, while applying caution and managing your boundaries. With removing the personal, snakes don't bite because they don't like their prey or their attacker. If a snake lashes out at me, I can't take it personally. In business, when interacting with someone who is on the attack, understand that they have their reasons, but don't take it personally. Rather, be objective to avoid becoming a victim. Although snakes pose a danger when threatened, they play a huge role in the ecosystem. The key is to understand that we can mutually exist for the benefit of all. In business, we may not always agree with the habits, the belief systems, etc. of others, but we can maturely take steps to mutually exist positively in team.